Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to the December 17th, 2024 meeting of the Simon Fairfield Public Library Board of Trustees. It is 4 p.m. and we will call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Moving down to minutes, I believe, Ellie, you sent us 2 months worth of minutes, right?
No, I resent you the September 24th minutes, which you all had gotten. And then I also, it's because we didn't have minutes, because it wasn't an official meeting on
Oh,
October. It was just the director's reports and his
okay.
financial
That's right.
reports and his reports, because we
That's right.
couldn't vote on anything.
Okay, I remember. Well, I don't remember because I wasn't here.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, you didn't miss anything.
Oh, well, I always
Just
feel like I
us.
missed something. But there's nothing. Do we need to approve?
Yes, the September 24th minutes you have to approve.
Okay, so I'll accept a motion to approve the minutes from September 24th.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of
Aye.
accepting?
Aye.
Aye. Well,
Aye.
I'm going to abstain because no, I was here in September. What's wrong with me? Yeah, no, I agree. I'm in favor.
Or were you here?
I
Or
was not here in October. That's what's got me confused. I
I
missed
saw you weren't around in September. Weren't you on the hot island somewhere?
No, that hot island was October. The
Because I
only
thought you
other
were
hot island will be Truro.
Well, I just remember, I guess I could look. Yeah, you were there on the 24th.
Okay, yes, all right, then yes. That's asking me to go way back. But, okay, this is where, yeah, okay. So, moving on, then we have the financial and the director's reports from October 29th.
As far as municipal budget status goes, we're 44.79% of the way through the fiscal year and have spent 44% of the budget. So pretty much
Wow.
right on track is where we'd
That's pretty much
expect to be.
as close to online as you can get.
Pretty much. Are there any questions about that before I move on to trustee accounts?
Everything looks good to me. And
not a lot of changes in the other accounts, except for we can talk about that when we get to the capital campaign. But whenever you combine all of our various accounts put together, we've got 265,000 in for capital, 30,000 in unrestricted. That's supposed to be a comma, not a period. It's 30,000, not 30. $922.49 restricted to archival expenses in that donations account. 2,680 for children's books, 193 for circulating material, and $10,000 in unspendable trust.
that's good. That looks good.
So how, you went too fast for me. There was one that you were a little bit in the minus.
Not anymore.
Okay, good. That's,
Not anymore.
Okay, great.
And I actually
Yeah.
can talk about that later in the agenda because Unibank donated $2,000 into the regular donations account that's unrestricted.
Oh, cool.
So that brings us up to where, the account can fulfill the reservation for the capital campaign and the reservation for the archive and still have that much remaining.
Good.
Good.
So that's not something we have to be worried about anymore.
Good. Okay, looking at circulation.
November circulation was good. I'm still want these numbers to be a little bit higher because, our budget increase in July was a 35% budget increase. So I'd like to see a 35% increase in circulation to match that.
But you know what I thought was interesting in some of these numbers is that the things that went out to everyone is higher
Yeah,
than
Mhm.
what went out to Douglas patrons. There's several places where
yeah.
it is the most is the books.
Well, this includes what goes out to our patrons in this number as well. So if you think of it, like
Oh,
in
all
November
right.
2024, 2,039 books were borrowed by our patrons. In November 2024, 2,247
All
items
right.
were borrowed from our collection. So some of those, there's some like
Oh.
cross
So the
reading between the numbers.
2039 is inside of the 2247.
Well,
That's
kind of yes and no. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Because like if you know one of our patrons borrowed a book from Brimfield, it would appear in this number.
okay.
If one of our patrons borrowed a book from Brimfield, it would not appear in this number. So this would just be our collection going out, and
Okay.
this is our patrons drawing from the catalog.
Right. All right. All right. So then when you look at it,
But that's why some of the numbers are exactly the same because, like we had 24 laptops borrowed by our patrons, but we only circulate those in our library. So, the number for going out to everyone was also 24.
right.
I should be using 41 because it's the higher number and it's the most recent one. Oh no. There we go.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess that explains a lot to me because I was just kind of curious.
But yeah, physical and digital circulations are both up significantly over last year. The number of Wi-Fi sessions went down considerably. We didn't have as many people using the Wi-Fi, but November, December are usually pretty slow months. They are definitely our slowest because everyone is busy doing stuff. And our door count got a respectable bump over last year.
Nice.
Programming, we did more programs this November, but we had fewer attendees overall.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is necessarily a failure because we're getting a lot of like small knit groups that are getting together to do things at the library. The book clubs
Yeah.
aren't huge, but since they're not huge, the people can have quality discussions. The fiber art friends, they don't have a ton of attendance, but they meet here reliably, and they're doing something that enriches the community. So I am fine with programming being spread out with fewer attendees, especially since we do most of the kind of programming we do is kind of small group, trying to make connections between people rather than big presentations or things. Like we
Right.
don't have a whole lot of huge events. But Douglas Winter Stroll being an exception. But yeah, this is something I do still want to work on because I would like both of these numbers to be increasing, not just
Yeah.
quantity, but quantity of attendees.
Right. I have a question, and I don't know if you've been aware or staff is aware or if people can kind of keep an eye out. You know how you said people were connecting from being in these small groups. So I'm thinking of, let's say, a story time, a preschool or early, kindergarten, that age group story time. Parents tend to kind of be together because they're all kind of trying to herd the kids around the activities. So, and I find that sometimes they'll make friends and then they'll get into, well, play dates or whatever. Do they tend to say, let's meet up at the library, just to get together someday? Do you know? Is there a way to?
I don't think so. I don't think we have a lot of people who come to meet at the library for play dates, but like the parents of the kids who are in story times definitely set up shop upstairs during story time, and they all kind of talk together.
Mm-hmm.
They
Now
are
here's,
generating little groups of friends.
yeah, that's another crazy place. I don't know. I'm thinking way out of the box, and it's all more on the staff or people that you bring in. But if the kids are downstairs and the parents are upstairs and they're getting together, is there something that could be available to them? Some type of resources, or if it,
I've asked them before if they would like to have some kind of parallel programming, in tandem with story time, but they would
right.
rather just have the time to sit.
Mm,
I mean, it's kind of an organic thing that happens on its own, and that's what they like to do.
that's great. I think that's great. I like that.
I mean, I
Nice.
feel like we could almost call it a program. Parent support group that happens to meet at the same time as story time
Informal parent
downstairs.
support group.
It's not
Seriously.
planned; it's just completely organic.
Yes, seriously. You could put that into your statistics somehow. Informal drop-in parent support group.
Passive programming is still something that's continued to surprise me in the amount of usage it's gotten. Marco's Brain Bundles distributed 95 in November, 50 take-home turkey crafts, 138 bags of tea, and 107 coloring and activity sheets. So, he just prints these things out, puts them in front of the circulation desk, spreads them around the library, and they go. And we also have the brain bundles on the website now. In the very bottom right, you can just download them and print them from home if you want to. And that accounts for about half of the use. So, 45 were downloaded, and then 50 were taken from the library.
I thought the November one was awesome. I took it everywhere I went.
They're fun little packets. I've been taking one home.
Yeah.
The rest of my report is pretty short because I was on vacation for 3 weeks. I do have a potential solution to the Windows 11 upgrade problem. I'm going to try to install a Ryzen processor in one of the Circ computers when I get the chance. And if that works, I may be able to just kind of give all the computers the same treatment and, make them Windows 11 compatible. Without having to do any significant upgrades. And if that's true, then we'll be able to make the migration come October without a huge expense. This is outdated information because I talked to the town IT guy yesterday, and the town's having some issue with activating Windows 11 licenses that they already own, and that's turned into a big kerfuffle. So what I've been poking is whether I can install the Chrome OS on our new computers and then use that instead, because it's an operating system which allows people to do a whole bunch of stuff. I just have to figure out how to balance it between guest sessions and admin users and make sure people can't, step on top of each other and save their files permanently. But I think that will be the way we go with our laptops we got from the university. Unaccompanied minors, they've forced us to adopt a bit stricter procedures. I talked about this a little bit last time, but I did have posted some signs saying that kids who are caught with food and drink in the library, engaging in horseplay, talking on their phones, or being unreasonably loud will be required to leave immediately. And repeat offenders won't be allowed back without a meeting between me and one of their parents, because we are having some issues with some, quite a few repeat, kids who like to come in, cause trouble,
Right.
and seemingly delight in staff discomfort. We're also making the loft a strictly no talking zone right now, just for perusal of materials only, because, one kid can be up there, two kids can be up there. As soon as they start talking to each other, the volume just gets out of control. It's like you give them a little short leash and they just start jerking all over the place. So, I want the library to be welcoming to all people, especially this age group, but they just have to learn that you've got to treat it like a library, or else they've got to find somewhere else to engage in, catch-up wars and candy throwing competitions.
Is there any thought to have what are the police in the schools called? Resource
The resource officer.
officers? Yeah, a resource officer to drop by in the afternoon when these kids show up, just to have them respect, if they don't respect you, they better respect the police.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't been an issue that far yet where I would get the police involved, but I have used the line, "I'm going to ask you to leave the library once. The next request is going to come from a Douglas police officer." So,
Okay.
Skedaddle.
I don't know. I think Ellie brought up a point. I don't know. Do you wait until it escalates to another level where you say, now we have to call the police? Or do you talk to someone in the police department, totally filling them in, and how can, I don't know, just open it up and say, I think it would be great if they were willing to do something, and like Ellie says, uh, the resource officer, I'm sure we have someone in Douglas who's appointed to that. I think every town has one. Um,
Yeah, we have
to,
Officer Brett and Finn, the dog.
oh yeah, have them come in. Oh, I know him and the dog. They're
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yeah, and have the dog bark.
Mm-hmm.
No, have them just pop in and just like, how you doing? Hope everything's cool, and you know, next time I come, I won't be so friendly. No, I don't know. It's a serious situation. I agree.
Yeah,
I don't think
I
that.
think that this is going to fix the issue. That we just have not been strict about it so far. We've been kind of adopting we'll give you 3 strikes before you're out, and they just push the limit every single
Well,
time.
that's like counting to 3 with kids.
And so
They know they
now
can
it's
get to
just,
2.5.
if we have to, ask you to get off your phone, be quiet, stop, running around, or put your food away, we're just going to ask you to leave immediately, because you're aware of the procedure now. We don't have to do this, whole 3 strikes thing or counting to 3 thing.
Right.
And, you'll learn. If you want to use the library, you'll learn.
Yep. Dag nabbit.
And that's all for my director's report.
That's very good. Thank you, Justin. Under old business and building projects, under accessibility next steps, it says keep on raising funds.
I remember in your last month's report, you were going to talk to Matt about, I had put it in the report too, that you were planning on talking to Matt about the idea of whether it would be good or bad to apply for a building or an MBLC grant for for
Planning.
drawing. Yeah, something like that. I can't remember how I worded it, but it's the same way you had worded it, I think. But so I wanted to know have you talked or thought about it? Because I think the trustees almost should come in before any decisions like that are made.
Yeah, the MBLC doesn't have a planning grant anymore. The planning and construction grant is all wrapped up into one package. Like used to, they did the planning and pre-construction grants that you could apply for to get your plans off the ground, and then you had to apply for the construction grant round. But the most recent one, that was the applications were fall of last year. It was after we did the building program with Mary Brainey. They combine it all into one. So there's just one MPLC library construction grant process now.
All right,
They
moving on
changed the way it works.
to, well, in a way, it makes sense. It's less work in the long run for the applicants and for the grant readers that have to, instead of doing two separate rounds at the same towns applying for the same things, wrap it into one round, but then it becomes a bigger project. So,
Mhm.
but I can understand the logistics of it.
Now, I've asked in the past about the idea of, um, uh, and Matt has talked about this too, that sometimes you don't need these cajillion billion million dollar buildings that they have for municipal buildings to that, like the MBLC wants you to build a very fancy library. And you look at the fire department, the new fire department in Northbridge, that's pretty fancy dancy too, you know? And but you can still make things look nice and not have these incredibly artsy results. But it will still be looking nice. So I'm wondering still about structural engineers and if building and facilities could, because I know Carol Gugulinski, who is an engineer, is on that board now, that she might be one to provide thoughts on structural engineering or
Mhm.
engineers for our needs.
That would be good.
No, I'm asking for, I'm not saying that this is what we should do, but,
No, but what I think it's a good suggestion.
okay.
Is it something, I don't know, what do you think, Justin?
I just think we need more money before we can really do anything.
Yeah.
Um, with the construction costs estimators, even if we do like very minimally invasive, bringing this building up to handicap compliance, all the calculators say we should still be expecting to spend about $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yep. Absolutely. Easily. Um, are we okay with that? Can we move on? Okay, on to the outdoor brickwork quotes.
I still have the quote from Jan Sudika. I'm getting a quote from ESI Waterproofing and Masonry Restoration Incorporated. That's one company. Because we need the second quote and it needs to be talked about at BSCC before it can go to the Capital Committee because it exceeds $50,000. So I gave them the remit, sent them the specs, took pictures, of, what it would take to restore refurbish our exterior masonry seals, all that jazz. And they said they would get back to me with a quote within a month. I've reached out to another company because I thought it wouldn't hurt to have a third quote.
Right.
But they haven't gotten back to me yet. Both of these other vendors were recommended by the MHEC because whenever I used their virtual quote desk, they, eventually said, we don't have this, but we can direct you to reputable vendors in the area. So I will look forward to having those numbers to compare to Jan's numbers and see how close they are.
Yeah. I've heard of JS Masonry. Are they local?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think they're far.
I know I've heard of them from somewhere. Anyhow.
I do like the initials though, JS.
Okay. Basement projects. All right.
Okay, just to catch everybody up, Brian LaValle quoted $7,500 per room to take care of the basement ceilings. I think we could do one. We have $6,224.76 remaining in our operational budget to spend on repairs and maintenance. And looking at the numbers and what we might still need to do after the ceilings are done, if we spent $5,000 out of that budget and then split the expense and paid for $2,500 of it out of grants, that would leave us enough money to cover installation of electrical outlets when we're done. And then we could move Deb in. And I would suggest just waiting until next fiscal year to do the archive, because then we can use our repairs and maintenance budget to do it.
Okay.
And just do them one at a time.
How much does electricity or electrical outlets cost?
I'm guessing it's going to cost between $300 and $600 to get cable wired where we want it, and then outlets put in by Jeff.
Well, I do think it's important to get Deb situated. She's been kind of in limbo here for the longest time, and I know she's a creature of habit, and she really would like to have her space.
Well, people are getting used to it. Things take time.
Yeah.
We're making progress more rapidly than we've ever made it before, so no one's complaining.
All right, that's a good thing. Keep it on the low then. I think it's a good idea. I would entertain a motion to accept Justin's plan to get Deb's room set up, and however you want to put it, to get Justin's plan for the expenditures to get Deb's room set up.
So if it does, the 7,500 that Brian LaValle quoted, that's the 5,000 and the 2,500 out of grants.
All right, there's a motion on looking.
I'm asking a question. I'm
I know,
asking
but
a question.
we need to
Oh,
open it. All right, all right.
It'd be 5,000 out of operational repairs and maintenance budget and 2,500 out of grants.
Okay, so again, I will entertain a motion to accept what Justin is proposing to get Deb's area downstairs finished.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, now we can all get in there with everything we need to say and ask.
No one wants to ask her.
I know. Where is everybody now?
Yeah.
What I was asking was,
question.
it says 7,500 per room, so that includes the electrical work.
No, that does not include the electrical work. That's just to do the ceilings.
So but all of this down here is 5,000 and 2,500, which equals 7,500. And where's the electrical work?
Oh, that'll be, it's not included in any of this. It would have to be done after the ceilings are done, and I'd have to talk to Jeff Grenier and get him to come prepare a quote for that. So the 7,500 is just to install some insulation foam and baseboard between the rafters up top, make it look nice, and soundproof it some. The insulation will do that. And basically it will keep the dust and the sound from the first floor, impinging upon the space below.
So a question I have on that quote, speaking of the dust, that's going to generate even more dust. How does he plan on handling that?
Oh, he'll clean up when he's done. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but I'm thinking everything should be covered all her
Well, right now there's
materials.
nothing in the room to cover because we've emptied.
Oh,
and
I
all
thought
that's
she
in
had
there is
everything in
empty
there.
shelves and file cabinets.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I
No,
thought
you're
it was
good.
where she's currently, her space where she's working right now.
No, she's not working there yet because we're not going to move her into it until it's ready. She's got her space
Exactly.
at the moment, and then once the other room is ready, we can move her into that one, and then address this middle space we have in the basement and do something new with it.
Okay. All right. I get it. Other questions? Comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of Justin's proposal for finishing Deb's area downstairs, say aye.
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 Okay, opposed?
I'm abstaining.
Okay, one abstained. Okay. Other building projects and going down to grants in the capital campaign.
We went up $18,449 from what we had last month or the 2 months ago. And the big jump is from the Friends auction and a generous anonymous donation.
Very, very good.
A very generous anonymous donation.
Excellent. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you to whoever made the generous anonymous donation.
So we're getting there. We're just 10,000 shy of 275.
I love the baby steps. We've got to keep track of the baby steps and move positive with those. I agree. All right, moving on to Unibank.
So Unibank gave us a $2,000 donation, and it's unrestricted this year. So instead of spending it on ebooks and audiobooks, I put it in the regular donation accounts to square away our obligated reservations to archival expenses in the capital campaign. So that account no longer has that scary red, we're in the whole number on it, and now it's $621.88 in the clear. So I kind of just want to keep it that way. And thank Unibank for their generous donation, which
Yes,
allows us to, use other funds in other ways.
that's wonderful.
So is this $2,000 donation part of the 2,500? Or we never said where the money was coming from from grants and stuff like that. Is that from donations or is it from LIG, MEG, or is it?
LIG MEG grants is what I was proposing.
Okay.
And then leaving Unibank's 2,000 in the regular donation kitty to keep that account.
Yeah, that's good
clear.
because there's no restrictions on it.
Is that their response to you asking them for a donation for, I think, something to do with redoing the room for
Yeah,
Deb?
I asked for 7,500, or
Yeah.
I asked for 16,000. If they wanted to fund both, but they stuck to their usual donation because they do 2,000 or 2,500 just about every year. So they kept the number the same and said we could do whatever we wanted with it.
Do you have to write a report or a thank you or gee, we did this?
I've already written a thank you and a blog post and all that's done. I don't have to report on it.
It would be good if we, how the money was spent when we do spend it, unless it's for like extra toilet paper or
I
something.
know. That's what I don't want it to be. Good point.
Yeah, we could look at that as we'll look at that in the future.
Well, just, that it made a big difference to us, that $2,000.
It did.
Yes,
I mean,
that
we
would be
wouldn't.
very safe, Ellie. That's a
Yeah.
good way to put it. You're
I
right.
wouldn't
Yeah, I
be
know, but
suggesting
we wanna
taking
tell 'em what it
2,500 out
was.
of grants if we hadn't have gotten 2,000 in donations. So I mean, it's one thing making another thing possible. even if it's not that money going directly to that use.
That's true. You're right.
So, I mean,
Yep.
I'm still comfortable thanking Unibank for helping us get our ceilings done.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, that would work. We don't need to vote on that, right? We're good. We're good. Okay, so under other.
Oh, so our first LIG MEG check should be hitting our account anytime now. They announced the second round of awards about a week ago, and it's a whopper this year, $13,085.20. And the first dispersal is always, or the second dispersal is almost always greater than the first dispersal or the same. So we can reasonably expect LIG MEG to get $26,000 in income this year.
Very good.
Which should leave it in a happy place.
Very happy. Okay, under friends.
I don't think I have anything to say, do I? Unless,
How could that be, Ellie?
I
Come on, you got to come up with something.
know. Okay.
They're taking a breather after Oktoberfest in the auction.
Yeah.
We
Well,
are,
I know something I can say. Come January next month is when we send out our annual mailing to all the households in town to ask them to become friends and all the great things that we've done. Now, Kate has been fantastic in designing this whole thing for us. And so I'm just wondering, what are you planning on the flyer, Justin? Are you planning on using some of your fancy junk or?
we do have new logos. The Friends of the Library have the new logo. We've
But
got,
is it in?
so Kate, if you want to come in sometime and we can like update it.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as it's not in color, we have to
It
remain.
can't be in color.
I know, but it has to be black and white.
But doesn't the Friends have a separate logo now?
They do.
I know.
And I think
know.
that's black and white.
Oh, it is? Okay,
I think
good.
so.
We can
Well,
make it black and white if it's not.
It's like a little wavy tree kind of thing. It's kind of like that, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, what did
Oh,
I do?
we're gonna see
I
it
thought
now.
I did something. I put the voodoo hacks on everybody.
Yeah. So this
Oh,
can be
wow.
made
Yeah,
black
that works out
instead of
fine.
blue.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's, yeah, and it can be black, right?
Yep.
Good. So Justin will have to write something short and Caroline will have to write something short and that's about it, I guess. And we try to send them out. I
And
can't
we'll have to
remember.
put a link to
Usually
the merch
towards the end.
store on it.
What?
And we'll have to put a link to the merch store on it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. See, you're beyond me when you're talking merching and stuff. But that's all right.
I made the merchandise store and staff has helped me refine what I should be offering and how the t-shirts and everything should be laid out. And they have already bought so much stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't
Okay.
announced this to the public yet. I was hoping to on Black Friday, but I was on vacation and not here and it just didn't work out. So
You didn't want the mad rush of people knocking everyone over.
but Lisa's wearing Simon Fairfield Public Library hoodies on most of her shifts now.
People love merch.
Merch.
I know what everybody gets for their birthday presents.
Christmas, if
Oh,
they're
it's too
doing it.
late now. I already. I won't go into that story about sweatshirts, but all right, we're good with that. Under new business, the 2026 budget.
A budget. So I emailed 3 kind of proposed budgets out before my vacation. One in which we just kept everything flat. Another one where we asked for a 2.5 increase over our operational baseline. And then one that factored in, doing the ceilings and trying to integrate that into our repairs and maintenance budget.
Mm-hmm.
The one I'm most fond of is the just 2.5% increase, because that gives us another year to grow into the budget that we were given back in July without sacrificing it to inflation. The only change I made since the last presentation is I increased other supplies by $1,000 and took it out of replacement equipment. Because replacement equipment I was expecting to have to spend a lot of money on computer upgrades, which I'm getting pretty optimistic I won't have to, because I'll be able to update the processors instead. So I would just allocate that towards other supplies, because that's where we always go over. And we are going through a lot more other supplies being open more, and with the passive programming, craft supplies, that kind of thing. We're going through more of it now, thanks to Marco's, brain bundles and things. I'm going to have to start adjusting my paper orders up, because I'm realizing we're depleting our paper supply.
Oh my Lord. But I have a
the town
question.
only lets us buy paper like 2 or 3 times a year, because they consolidate it all into a
Right.
bulk order
Yep.
that we buy in
I
WD
I
Mason
worked-
together. So it's
I
I've really got
worked
to
for-
sort of dial in how much paper I need now.
Yes, I worked for a school district, which is through the town, and yeah, we had to try to guess. But my question is, okay, the FY26 proposal with 2.5%, is that just 2.5% of what we have right now, or 2.5% on top of what the recommendation is going to be from Matt?
It's just 2.5% above what our previous year, or what this year's budget is, asking for
Okay.
2.5% more, because the tax levy increases by 2.5% every year. So if we ask for a 2.5% increase, it's basically like asking for, flat.
Right. Okay.
And the personnel piece, I don't plan on making any changes to. I don't plan on making any changes to staffing. So the hours, the wages, the steps, and all that will just follow the town's personnel bylaw. And I won't know what that budget will be until Matt decides what the cost of living increase for employees is going to be next year.
Right. Right.
So you're not thinking of putting in a position of an assistant director?
I'm not. I think that would be premature right now.
Well, whatever happens with that would have to be something that would be advertised and for people to apply for. You can't sort of decide that it's going to be, Danielle or something like that. You can't.
Oh, God, no, I'm way past that.
No, but we'd have to discuss whether we want to add that position or not.
Right.
Can't just add it without any discussion.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, at this point, we don't have an official assistant director, but if I'm not around, Deb is in charge. That's pretty much explicitly written into her job description, and I think everybody is good with that right now.
Yes.
I think at some point we need to we need to look at it, and whether it be, I can't imagine it being a new hire, but is there someone on staff who either would have the qualifications to be an assistant or would be willing to take whatever courses that were necessary to do that? Is that something that's possible?
I don't think any classes or courses are necessary. The only staff person at the library that has to have a certificate of librarianship is the director.
Okay. And then another question, I think we might be jumping the gun here, but another question to take into consideration would be say it's internal and it's someone on staff who's willing to take on that position, that added responsibility, what does that do to their pay?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that's just things to think about when you're considering that.
I have,
Anyway,
And I did do like a little look around to see other libraries our size that have an assistant director, and there really aren't any. So if we did have an assistant director, we would be an outlier.
okay. That's good.
Next year, I need to get rid of some of these unused line items. We don't need the
Well, yeah.
COVID-19 line item anymore.
right, and also, it bothers me every year, the postage being in there. It used to be $100, it's now down to $42. Get rid of it or change it up to your
Can you
supply
take
stuff.
postage out of extras, some expenses?
No, postage has to be its own line item.
Oh,
But
You know,
okay.
I
you
wouldn't
never,
necessarily have to budget for it. But when we have to replenish our postage account, it would come out of that line item.
yeah, but the friends pay $50 cash into petty cash three times a year or something like that, and that's used for mailing books back to other libraries out of state, maybe. So that you never use it. Postage is
Well, we do use it. I send a stack of, we don't use Friends money to send overdue notices. So right now, if a patron doesn't bring something back, then they'll get a letter with a bill, which is kind of a polite reminder, bring our stuff back. And then if they haven't done that within 3 weeks, they get another letter, which is the naughty letter, which says, if you don't bring your stuff back, it's just going to be yours forever and you're going to be stuck with a fine because we're not keeping track of it anymore. And that's what we use the municipal postage machine for.
look
When it
here.
runs out
Yeah,
of
but you
money,
never get charged back on it, Justin. It says postage here. What did you spend last year? 0. Then you lowered it to $42 and you haven't spent any this year from
that's
this.
because a few years ago we overpopulated the account by a lot. So there's a lot in there. I don't know precisely how much, but whenever we do have to replenish it, we have to replenish immediately or else we get cut off from the postage machine.
Keep it in there.
It's not coming. It's
You
not
might need it.
from postage, though.
I agree, Betty.
Yeah, but what I object to is, or what I would like a clearer indication of is how you're going to be spending all this money. For instance, the repairs and maintenance, it was up to 18,000 this year, but we never really had any forewarning. It was just, well, we're doing this and it's going to be spent with repairs and maintenance. And it would be nice to know, a logical expense thing. And I don't see this postage area, which since you've been the library director, has never used it, so I don't get it. So something's not clear to me, and it must be not clear to somebody else, I would
Okay,
guess.
Ellie, can I try to say what I think Justin is saying is that if we don't have something in that line item, then we don't have use of the postal machine at the municipal center. Is that right?
All I know is I don't know when it's going to run out of money because it hasn't happened in a few years, like 4, I think. Because when we started using the mail machine, I think that we put hundreds of dollars in it, and then we were expecting to have to put in so much per year after that to repopulate it. But whenever I go to use the mail machine, if we're out of money, then it just won't work. And then I have to go to Lisa and say, I need to add this to our postage. She does an invoice, and then it goes back into the system. So I haven't used it in a while, but I don't know when I'm going to need to use 'Cause what is shipping now? It's like 67 cents or something for a parcel.
Well, first class, 67. You get 67 as opposed to what the rest of us get?
I think so.
Yeah, keep it in
Which
there.
is
Who
enough
knows
to
what you
send
might,
62 overdue notice.
yeah.
All right, great.
We
So,
don't, it's not something I think you need to account for. It's whatever you need to mail out to whomever, a thank you letter to the police person or the town nurse, whatever. Just, you need it for whatever you need.
right. I agree. Can we move on? Are we okay to move on past the $42 of postage? We're okay? All right, so let's move on to the life trustee vacancy.
Do y'all need to vote to approve this budget request?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it's not official yet because you don't know anything about the cost of living or anything.
That's true.
That's why,
I'd rather have something more specific before I voted on it.
That's fair.
yes. Another good point.
What's the time
Okay.
frame that we'd need to vote on the budget?
February probably.
Oh, okay.
I think we're good.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so as most of you know, you should know that Barbara Van Reed has decided it's a time in her life to step down from her position as a library trustee, lifetime library trustee, for many, many, many years. She was there when I came on, and she's been an inspiration and the voice of reason through many of our discussions. And I know I can say personally that I will miss her greatly, and I wish her and her husband all the best in their future endeavors.
Was there a letter that got sent to us?
I forwarded the email that
I didn't get it.
I forwarded it to everyone. I can resend.
Maybe you could have Justin send it out because I didn't read it and I was curious.
Yeah,
He
she
may
sent-
have a different way of sending things that gets through.
Oh, I got it from Danielle. Or maybe it went through Justin.
I got
somehow.
it.
I can forward it to you, Betty.
Thank you.
Basically, it says that she and her husband will be in Florida for the next 4 months, and she doesn't feel that she is able to give her time to the board like she should, and she feels that it's time to pass the baton to someone else. So
Now, it's important, isn't it? Oh, well, no, I guess we have to finish this, but also carry it on with replacing her signing stuff that she and Dawn do together. That we have to nominate somebody to replace, make it so it's not that Dawn can't go anywhere forever. You know?
Every other week.
You know, I think it works out well with two that
It's
the
nice to
option
have a
person.
backup.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'll have to find a super majority of you.
Yeah, and that was not fun the one time we had to do it.
It was not.
Right.
good luck with that.
I mean, it blows
Okay.
my mind that, it just is 7, 8 years ago. I mean, that's how we had to do it every 2 weeks. We had to have a supermajority of trustees walk into the library every Wednesday evening to sign payroll.
Oh,
Yep.
really?
Oh, yeah.
That ended with the Municipal Modernization Act.
Crazy. Okay.
Yeah, I will miss Barbara. I'm apropos of nothing. One of the applicants we got for library assistant here was just a stellar application, but I had a lot of stellar applications. So, they're like my third choice. I sent Barbara's way and wrote a recommendation, and now she works at the museum.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow. So at this point, and I'm not sure what the protocol is, Ellie was reminding me of the protocol. We cert the current life members that we have, according to the plan that I read was that life members choose the next life member.
Correct.
And can you confirm, Danielle, who the life members are?
Yeah, they're right here.
They're right here. Are you looking at your screen?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm mobile right now.
It's
Oh, it's
Danielle
Okay.
Morrow, Catherine Anderson, Ellie Chesbro, and Betty Holden, and then
Okay.
Barbara's position, which is now vacant.
Okay.
And for the elected members, and I think I have this right, double check me if I'm wrong. I think Dana is due for election this year. It's
Yes.
upcoming, and then it'll be Lee, and then it'll be Dawn in May of 2027. Right? If
I
that's
don't
right, I'm
know
gonna.
if people are. No, those are right. You're right. You're right, Justin. I had a conversation via email with Dana, and he is saying he has said how he has his work, his career requirements have kind of lessened a little bit, and he says for all of us to be aware, but his daughter is supposed to be starting driving, so he'll have some more time.
That's scary.
But he says, but keeping that in mind, he's not ready to be a life member, but he will definitely run for reelection. So that's his feeling right now.
Okay.
If Dana wants to, I don't know if Dana's still here, but
Yeah, he's right there.
I can't see him. I just see a phone. I see a phone. Whatever.
Yeah, that about sums it up, I think. I mean, I haven't been to a lot of meetings in the last year or so. 4 o'clock is really hard for me to make, as I pick the kid up usually from 4 to 5 from school, from track, and then come home and cook dinner. So it should ease up when they allow her onto the roads by herself. But yeah, for the next 6 months, it'll still be kind of sketchy for me.
Well, this was a one-time only 4 o'clock. We're going back to 5.
If I still, yeah, it's usually like 4:30 to 5 that I pick her up. So the 5 still feels like 4 to me.
4 or 5, same thing.
So, but Dana, you're still interested in staying on the board, right?
Yeah, I'm happy to stay for
Oh yeah,
reelection.
we want you to stay. So it's not something we have to do today, but we need to be thinking about it. And according to Ellie, it can be anyone from town. I thought it had to be a current elected member.
Now, if you look in the 1903 vote, I think it's in there. And Justin, you should have it at your fingertips too. That the lifers have to select the next lifer.
Right, but I was under the impression that it came from within the board. You had told me through email that could be anyone in the town.
Right, it can
It
be.
can be.
Okay.
The trustees can literally appoint anyone to be a lifelong trustee as long as they live in town. We've always typically selected from the elected members because they're people that we already kind of know and trust.
Right. Well, I
But there's
think
no
this,
rule that says you have to.
all right, so I think this is something that we should put on the agenda. Can we, I guess it would maybe be under new business because we're not taking a vote on this. How
No,
is it?
I think
There-
what we've done in the past is met at one of the lifers' houses. Anybody's
They
invited.
meet privately.
It's-
you
We're
know,
not being, we don't want to be influenced by anybody.
it's not an open meeting. It's just four
Right.
people.
Well, that's what I wasn't sure. I think I was the last.
Well, yeah, so you haven't
Life-
experienced it, so.
No, Kate was, I was,
No,
all
I
right,
haven't
whatever. I don't think I've done it, but anyhow. Yeah. So we should meet, life members should meet between now and the next meeting, right?
Yeah,
And then bring it to the board. Do we need to get approval from the board or we can
No.
just say, okay. And then at the same time, we need to fill a vacancy right now because Barbara's gone.
no,
So we need,
No, that's
Yes,
the
she
life
is.
trustee.
we're missing a trustee right now.
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
And after we meet, we'll have one.
No, we won't. Well,
Yes.
unless we go outside. But if we pick somebody from on the board, we still need another person.
That would be town election, correct?
Mhm.
Yes,
No.
but we need, Lee, if you remember, you were appointed midway through,
no, he won at an election.
but
Right.
then oh, that's right, he was a write-in.
I was a write-in.
Maybe I was appointed midway through. But you get appointed and then you have to run in May.
Yeah.
So
Well,
we-
depending, I can't remember that part, so that's, I'll zip my mouth.
We need 8 members and we only have
No,
7.
what I'm saying is if the lifetime members appoint a new lifetime member, then we have another vacancy that would go up to, it would be open for town election to elect the open seat.
But in the meantime, we only have, as of today, right now, we have 7 board members and there should be 8. We can't go 5 months without trying to find another board member.
So just confirming, so Barbara's off immediately. I don't remember the exact text of the email, but she's,
Yeah, she's gone.
okay.
Well, then we'd have to have a special town election before the May election.
No,
if we
no,
want
no,
No,
Lee,
no,
it
no,
doesn't
no.
happen. No, 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 no. We appoint someone.
Okay,
Okay, and then in May, then we're gonna have 2 people, because in May, that person's gonna have to vote to be elected to that position. Well, maybe we only need
Right.
1.
Well, regardless of what happens, Dana Harvey is going to be up for election in May 2025.
Right,
Okay.
So if the life members appoint Lee or Dawn, that would leave us 1 trustee short until the election.
exactly. I
No,
think
not
I've said
until
that
the
18
election. What
times.
you can do is, what we have done in the past is have a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen, and there's a call vote. And so then we can have our everything in place. You
Mhm.
might have seen the school committee done it before. We have done it before too. And you just you find somebody to run, so that they're off and running.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's and so it would depending on, if we appointed Lee as a lifer, then the vote would be for fulfilling whoever won, if Yankee whatever won, then or Donald Trump won, then he would serve until this would be a joint appointment. No, it would be till the next election. So,
Jeez. Okay.
but but still, it's important to try to get it all done ahead of time instead of running around and trying to find somebody.
At the last minute. Okay,
Right,
I'm going to
exactly.
finish your sentence. Okay, let's try to be visual. Let's go back to preschool. Let's line up 8 little people. Okay, we need 8 little people in our chairs. 1 person left. We have 7 little people. We have a chair empty. It's like the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, too. So one of those people is going to maybe be able to stay there forever, but maybe not. No matter what, we only have 7 little people when we need to have 8. We need to, whether we meet with the selectmen with a person in mind, whatever, we need to find another person, and we need to do it before we look for somebody to write in at the last second. And that's what I'm saying for our next meeting. Well, okay, the life members are going to meet before our next meeting. And at the same time, I want every board member to be thinking of someone in the community who would be willing to fill in, or a good match to fill in that vacant seat. Then that person will run for election in May. That's it.
That's if the lifers choose either Lee or Dawn.
If we choose someone from the community, then we need to.
Then we don't have a vacant, then we're fine. We have Dana, Lee, and Dawn still as the elected one.
All right, that's fine. All right, so okay, I will wait. Let's set up, we'll get together, life members will get together, obviously after Christmas, to meet and discuss who we'd like as the next life member. And we can take it from there. Whether we need to vote for one person or no people or whatever. Okay?
I have 2 questions. First, I don't know if you want to poll Lee or me to see if there's any interest. And second, it just seems very heavy with life members, that the majority are life members. And I don't know if that's probably a much bigger bylaw change, but it just occurred to me that, do we want to keep that many people on for life?
That's it's always been 5 life members and 3 elected.
It
That
has
was
it has to be a multiple of 3. It could be 3 life, that's
Let's
the way
be
it has
odd.
to- It has to be
Yeah.
3. For all libraries, it's a multiple of 3 that get voted.
You just mean because it's an odd number, Ellie?
No, it's in Sturbridge, there were 9 trustees, they were all elected. But it couldn't be 10 trustees that were all elected. It had to be 9. That's the way the MBLC works.
because it breaks up a tie.
Okay.
Right.
No, you could have 6 people that are elected and 3 lifers. But I don't know how you would do that. That's been voted over town meeting and everything else. That would be a really hard thing to do.
Absolutely.
But we have 8.
We have 3 elected. We have 3 elected, and then that's what they did back in 1903. 5 were, they said in the town meeting thing, 5 would be the amount of lifers, and the lifers would
So the electeds have to be in
3,
threes. Okay.
a multiple of 3. or the
Okay.
vision of 3.
So does it make sense to have 3 lifetime and 6 elected?
You can look into that. I'm not interested in trying to, no, not 3 and 6. No, because you'd have to have something done with the 5. And I don't know how that would go. I mean, that gets really complicated, Dawn. So,
I don't.
It's a
Okay,
lot
I'm
of
missing
changing of
something.
bylaws.
and
I
it's
don't-
not just bylaws. It have to be a town meeting vote, I think.
Do y'all want me to ask Matt?
No. Matt is not a trustee. He's sort of wiped his hands of us and
Well, he's
you
not, but
work
he would
for
know the
us
answer to the
and
question.
it's
Like,
no, you can
if
ask
the board wanted to,
the person you can ask is the MBLC. They would know better than Matt.
well, no, they wouldn't, because local boards and committees are governed by local bylaws.
It's
So
not
if
the town bylaw,
trustees
it's
wanted
the library
to update their
bylaw.
bylaws, then would something at town meeting be required for that if it changes the composition of the board? That's the answer to the question, or that's the question we want answered, right? Or do
Right,
we?
right. That's the question. I would like that question answered. I believe it would mean meeting at a meeting because I was asking the same question with the historical commission, but yeah, let's confirm it. And do you, I don't know if it's a separate conversation other than the meeting, but as far as Lee or me, pulling us whether we want it or not.
I think that's something that we'll get in touch with you. Okay, this is being recorded right now and it's public, so we might
Right.
want to just,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's fine.
absolutely.
I mean, y'all could have a conversation about it now if you wanted to.
I'm fine. I don't care.
I'm not
All right,
sure.
do we want to ask if Don or Lee might be interested since we're here?
From my perspective, I haven't thought about it enough. I'm not exactly inclined to be lifetime, although it seems easy enough to remove yourself. But I don't know, just kind of came up.
Mhm.
I would feel the same way. I'm still in I'm a newbie in the learning process, and I would be honored to be asked, but I would hesitate to accept right now.
Okay. Well, thank you both for sharing. So, I think we're going to leave that if we're okay. The
Okay.
plan is that life members will meet before our next meeting and discuss what we're going to do, and then come back to the board in January with whether what do we need to do? How
In the
many?
meantime, I'd suggest that everyone be thinking of who you might like to fill if there was a vacancy, because I want to go to the select board with a person in mind, not just have an open discussion. I want to present a person that we think would be good to them to just okay it.
Yes,
No,
absolutely,
they
Betty.
don't have to okay the lifers. They
No,
only
I'm not
Ellie,
talking about the
Ellie,
lifers.
I'm gonna stop right there, Ellie, because Betty made a really good point, and I'm reiterating her point that yes, that's what we need to do. And I had said that, I don't know how long ago in this conversation, that every board member needs to be coming up with people who would either be viable life members, to be on the board forever, and or candidates to be elected, to be appointed now and then be elected in May. That's what we need to do as a board. Okay? Put out your feelers, talk to people. That's what we need.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So with that,
Okay.
we're going to, life members are going to meet before the next meeting. We'll come back. We'll let Justin know about what we need on the agenda as far as appointing people or whatever. And let's move on, okay? Because we're not going to do
Okay.
anything more right now.
Correct.
Okay.
Do y'all want suggestions from me of patrons who might be approachable and interested?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. That would be great.
Mhm.
I can think of a couple who would make good ones. I don't know if they're interested or not, but
Well, let's have a conversation, but
Yeah,
not right now.
people who are invested in the library would be perfect.
You got it, Kate. That's it. We don't want Joe Schmo off the street. Just looking to throw trash on the lawn. No, I'm just kidding. All right, we're moving on. Whether you like it or not, we're moving on. This is an action plan draft.
Oh, well, what about having a motion to for someone to replace or serve as a co
oh, a vice
signer?
signer. Yes, yes. Who's easily available on Thursday mornings for me to run payroll to if Dawn has the plague?
Where's Brenna?
I can do it, but should I not be doing it as chair? Should it be someone else?
Not a problem.
I think that would be a
I
problem.
don't think it would be a problem.
All right.
I think it'd be great if you want to do it.
I don't want to do it, but nobody else is saying, hey, I'll do it. Nobody else is not doing anything right now who's home on Thursday mornings. But that's okay. I'll do it if I need to.
This
I'd
will
like
have to be a
to,
vote.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Danielle Morrow as what's the title called?
Post-signatory, I think.
Alternate signatory.
Alternate signatory.
Aye.
Dawn, just don't get sick, okay?
I will try not. I have a couple trips, but we'll let you know.
Good. I have a couple surgeries.
We'll coordinate.
All right, so we need a motion.
I just moved
We had it.
that.
Yep.
All right, you got a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes unanimously. All right, now we're gonna go. We're gonna go on. Right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go on to the action plan draft.
So this is not an official action plan. The NBLC requires us to submit an action plan the 1st of December every year. I missed that deadline because I was on vacation, but I've always found this a bit silly and frustrating, creating an action plan 6 months before we're done with our last one and 6 months into the future. But I did want to just kind of make, like the way they have it set up, you identify part of your strategic plan, you identify an objective, you create a pass-fail evaluation for it. And, that's never been how we have succeeded. But I wanted to make one anyway, and write it not for the NBLC, but write it for us. Because, I'm not planning on applying for any LSTA grants anyway. None of them are every year they have themed LSTA grants, and you have to have an action plan on file that's approved to be eligible for them. And they're all things like, taking stock of underutilized archives or creating English conversation circles for people learning English as a second language. None of the programs are really apropos to our community, which I have griped about. But at the same time, I'm not planning on applying. So anyway, I wrote sort of an action plan that kind of reflects where I feel like we've come since expanding our hours in July, where I would like to be next year. And we don't even have to go over it tonight if you don't want to. If everyone wants to just kind of read it and then discuss it next meeting and see whether
Yeah, I think
we're kind
that's
of
a
on
good
the same
idea.
page or not.
Yeah, because I'm glancing through it and there's a lot of ground to cover here, Justin. I want to give it justice. And I think we're kind of meetinged out right now. Yeah, I'm sure you will send that to us and put that, oh yeah, I want to read that. But put that on, send it to us and then put it on the agenda for next month for sure. All right. Other new business. Hearing another. Is it almost review time? Oh, Justin, come
Is
on.
it almost review time?
Yes.
It is.
Okay. Do you want me to do what I did last year and make a
Yeah.
survey and send it?
Yes, make us do it. Shame us into doing it.
No, you did good. I thought it was, it made it very easy for us to review you.
Cool beans. Then I will get that done within the next week, hopefully, and then get it sent out so y'all can all vote before the next meeting or
Sweet.
fill out the survey.
All right. All right. Next meeting is January 28th, 2025. Oh my Lord. All right.
Almost there.
Almost there. So, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ahoy.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.